Hello, friends. How are you all? Welcome to Ingrolit. Today, I'm going to discuss a story from Telangana State Intermediate First Year English. The story's title is The Five Boons of Life. It was written by Mark Twain. Let us discuss some more details about Mark Twain. Mark Twain was born on November 13, 1835. He died on April 21, 1910. Mark Twain was actually his pen name. That means some writers they don't disclose their name. Instead of disclosing their name, they are keeping other name for their works and all. And like that, Mark Twain is his pen name and his real name is Samuel Langdon Clemens. Mark Twain was an American writer, humorist, and a lecturer also. And his famous works are The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. These two are very, very famous novels. And if you find time, just read it. And both were very attractive. Both were about the young boys and how they had faced so many troubles in their lives. We could see in this. But both were worthy to read. Really very nice stories. These two are. He is rightly called the father of American literature. We can call him as father of American literature. And he had written our present story, The Five Boons of Life. Okay, so the five boons of life and five chapters are there in this. Chapter 1. Okay, in the morning of life came a good fairy with her basket and said, so, morning of life, that means in the morning time, a fairy came. Fairy means a mythical being with magical powers. Okay, so you could see here she is a fairy. She has wings and she actually gives boons, that means blessings and gifts like that. With her basket, okay, a good fairy came with her basket and said, here are gifts, take one, leave the others, and be wary, choose wisely. Oh, choose wisely, for only one of them is valuable. That means she came to a boy like that, boy like that. She came to a boy, okay, that means the young boy, and she came to a young boy and she asked the boy that here gifts are there for you. You have to take one, remaining you have to leave. But be wary, that means be careful, be cautious. You have to choose wisely, okay? Because only one is valuable in this. You have to take only one, like that, she said. And the gifts were five. How many gifts were there? Five gifts: fame, love, riches, pleasure, and death. These are the five gifts in my basket. You choose wisely. Like that, a good fairy came to a young man and she said to him. The youth said eagerly. So the youth, the young boy, did not think so much time and he eagerly, within no time, what he had said. There is no need to consider, and he chose pleasure. So, why to think more? I want pleasure. Like that, he has chosen pleasure. That means physical pleasures. He went out into the world and sought out the pleasures that youth delights in. So, there what happened? So, after choosing the pleasure, he went into the world. He went to the world and just he had enjoyed what the pleasures give him. So, here we know that fame means okay, repetition. So, riches means wealth. Okay, we know pleasures. Pleasures means actions causes enjoyment. So, the physical pleasures. Okay, you know very well what does it mean. Okay, Yes, the physical pleasures and all comes there. And the one is death. But here the boy, the young man, the young boy has chosen pleasure within no time. He decided very quickly. And he had got that pleasure. But each in its turn was short lived and disappointing. But whatever the pleasures he had been enjoying, those are all short lived, not long lasting. Okay. Whatever he had got, the pleasures, all they are short lived, very, very short lived they are. And they are disappointing him. Okay. Whatever the joy or whatever the pleasure he had been getting, they are giving him disappointment. Okay. And vain. That means he thought later, after he enjoyed a lot, he thought they are all useless and they are giving him and they are making him empty. And each departing mocked him. That means whomever and from whomever he had got that pleasure, maybe girls or something else like that. So while they are departing, that means while they are leaving, okay, while they are leaving, they mocked him. Mocked means they make fun of him and they laughed at him in an unkind way. He got pleasure, but they are short lived and they are giving him disappointment and they became useless. They make him empty. And whom he had given so much importance for the sake of getting pleasure, and that people, while they are departing, they are mocking him. That means they are making fun of him and they are telling about him very badly. That hurts him a lot. In the end, he said, "These years I have wasted. If I could but choose again, I would choose wisely." So, in the end of this first chapter, finally he understood that he had taken a wrong choice. So, his choice was wrong, and he realized that he had done a mistake by choosing the pleasure. So, the pleasure is short lived, he understood at the end of the first chapter. And he thought that if he could get one more chance, that time he would choose wisely, like this he had thought. Then, chapter 2, the fairy appeared again and said, so the fairy back to the uh, came back to the man whom actually she had given already one chance. And then she came to him and she asked like this. And she said like this: "Four of the gifts remain. Still, there are four gifts with me. Choose once more. And oh, remember, time is flying, and only one of them is precious. So choose again wisely." And the time is flying. The time is flying means time would move very, very faster than anything. That's why you have to choose wisely at least this time. Only one of them is very, very valuable. Like this, the fairy again gave second chance for the young man, for the man, not young man, man. The man considered long. So this time he thought for a long time. Considered long means he thought for a long time. Then he chose love. He thought that love is valuable, love is precious. That's why he had chosen love and did not mark the tears that rose in the fairy's eyes. And he did not find out the tears which came in the fairy's eyes. Here, rose means not the rose flower, rose means rise, rose, rise in. So the tears rose in the fairy's eyes, but the man did not find them, did not notice the tears. Why the fairy is going to cry there? Because we could understand again he had taken a wrong choice. He thought that love is the precious one, but fairy understood that that was not. That's why only the tears came in the fairy's eyes. Okay, then fairy departed. After many, many years, the man sat by a coffin. Coffin means the box in which a dead body is buried or cremated. Okay, that is nothing but coffin. So many, many years The man sat by a coffin. After so many years, the man sat beside a coffin, came in an empty home. Nobody is there at home. It was empty. And he communed with himself, saying, he communed means he is communicating with himself only. He is talking to himself and he is saying like this: one by one, they have gone away and left me. And now she lies here, the dearest and the last. So that means he had got love in the form of a good woman, good lady. And he had got a family, very nice family. And he had got children. But what happened? Everyone left him. And whom he had thought that she was the dearest for him, she also died now. And her dead body is in the coffin. And he sat beside the coffin and he was crying. Desolation after desolation. That means misery combined with a feeling of being lonely. So, loneliness after loneliness has swept over me. So, that means one after one leaving me, that made me lonely, and that swept over me. That means that had made me very weak, made me very sad. For each hour of happiness, the treacherous trader means intending to betray somebody. That means who had the intention to cheat others. That is called treacherous. So for each hour of happiness, that means if you get 1 hour happiness, then the love has sold me. I have paid 1,000 hours of grief. That means here, if you understand love has sold me, I have paid 1,000 hours of grief means if you get 1 hour happiness in your life, for the sake of that, you have to pay 1,000 hours grief. Grief means sadness. Okay, really, it's correct only. We may think that we are living happy now, but who knows how much time can we live like this happily? So that means love or whatever it may be, if you think this properly, definitely you could understand. So definitely some of us will become near to, very close to somebody, and we will be very happy while we are with them. But the destiny is not in our hands. Definitely they will leave us on one day. At that time, the grief or the sadness is 1,000 times more than our happiness. It's correct. The happy memories give us more grief. It's correct only. Out of my heart of hearts, I curse him. That means to the treacherous trader, and he is saying that he is going to curse him. So, by this, you could understand that in this chapter 2, again he realized that love is also not precious, but for the sake of knowing it, he had taken many years. Now, chapter 3. So, now again the fairy came to him and she gave him third chance. Choose again. It was the fairy speaking. So it came to the man and she said to him, choose again. The years have taught you wisdom. I think these many years you have spent, so you became little older. That means you could understand. You have experienced now what is life. It gives you, I think, wisdom. Surely it must be so. Three gifts remain. Still there are three. What? Think wisely. Only one of them has any worth. Remember it and choose warily, cautiously, carefully. You have to choose because only one of them is very valuable. Like that, again, the fairy cautioned or the fairy informed to the man. The man reflected long. The man thought for a long time. Then he chose fame. Then what happened? He had taken fame. He thought that fame is valuable. And the fairy, sighing, went her way. Then the fairy was disappointed. Again, he has taken the wrong one, like that. Maybe she felt, and just she left the place. Years went by, then some years passed, and she came again, and again she came back, and stood behind the man where he sat solitary in the fading day. And at the time when she came back, at the time he was alone. Okay, in the fading day, thinking, he was thinking, and she knew his thought, and she knew what he is thinking. My name filled the world. That means he got great reputation, fame, and its praises were on every tongue, and everyone in the world started praising him. That much fame he had got. And it seemed well with me for a little while. And that fame is very nice for him, but not for a long time, but for a little time. How little a while it was. Very short time only that fame was with him. Then came envy. Then what happened? In the place of that fame, everybody started, uh, everyone started making him enemy and feeling him like enemy. Then detraction. Detraction means a state of having lower value. That means when he started getting more name and great reputation, then he had got a number of enemies also. And what they have done, they started making him downtrodden, and they started damaging his good name and fame. Because of that, he had lost all his fame. Then calumny. That means a false statement about somebody made to damage his or her reputation. Then what that envy people, that means what his enemies had done, they have started making him unfame. That means they started telling the faulty things and all on him. Then hate, then everyone who had praised him, then they started hating him. Then persecution. Persecution means a state of being treated in a cruel way. So then everyone started to treat him cruelly. Then derision. Derision means contemptuous laughter. Then so many started laughing at him very badly, which is the beginning of the end. So that was actually beginning of the end. And last of all came pity. So finally he had lost all his fame. Now only pity are there, which is the funeral of fame. So everyone started showing kindness, pity on him. Okay, and that is like a funeral of fame. Oh, the bitterness and misery of renown. So renown means praise. So that is nothing but the sadness which has remained because of choosing the fame to him. Target for mud in its prime, for contempt and compassion in its decay. So prime means first importance, okay, and compassion means kindness. So when someone showed on us pity, then we could understand that we are not famous and we don't have any fame. That kind of situation now the man is facing, that he could not tolerate. Then he understood that fame is also not everlasting, and that also not the valuable one. Now chapter 4 now we are entering. Again the fairy is giving him a chance. Choose it again. It was the fairy's voice. Two gifts remain, and do not despair. So still there are two gifts for you. Don't despair. Despair means don't stop having any hope. Okay, that means don't be sad, don't lose your hope. Still there are two gifts. In the beginning there was but one that was precious, and it is still here. Again I am saying one more thing for you. There are two gifts, still there are two. In that one is valuable. So the two are death and wealth and death. Choose one properly. Like this, the fairy had said, wealth. which is power. How blind I was, said the man. So the man had chosen this time wealth, and he thought that if we have wealth, we get fame, we get love, and we get pleasures and everything we get. How blind I was these many days. So, wealth I want, like that, he had chosen the wealth. Now, at last, life will be worth living. I will spend, squander, dazzle, like this, he had thought. That means he wanted to spend the money, wealth, and he wanted to waste foolishly, and he wanted to dazzle, impress somebody greatly with his wealth. These mockers and despisers, that means who had started laughing him and laughing at him, and who despises means yielding to the various wishes of others because of respect. That means who had made him ill-treated and ill-respected and will crawl in the dirt before me. That means he wanted to show them who he is. With his wealth, he wanted to show them. And definitely, if I have wealth, and they would come and they may lick my feet, like this, he had thought. And I will feed my hungry heart with their envy. So now I am really with a great hungry heart. That means I want to take revenge on my enemies, like that, he had thought. I will have all luxuries, all joys. I will enjoy with the luxuries, joys, and enchantments. That means magic spells of the spirit, all contentments of the body. That means satisfaction for my body, physical pleasures that man holds dear. So generally, man likes very much the pleasures and all. So I like all those things, and I will get all those luxuries, happiness, enchantments, and physical pleasures and everything with wealth. And I made my enemies to crawl at my feet, and I will spend lavishly, and I will enjoy my life, like this. He had thought that the wealth is the precious. I will buy difference, respect, esteem, worship in every pinch big grace of life in the market of a tribal world can furnish forth. So I will buy everything. Okay, difference means we can understand great respect. I get respect, I buy respect, and I buy respect, I buy esteem, and people worship me if I give them money. And every pinch bake came, every pinch bake grace, that means an alloy of copper and zinc at once used as imitation of gold for cheap jewelry. So every pinch big grace of life, that means every fake grace, fake thing looking like gold. Okay, grace of life that the market of a tribal world can furnish forth. So trivial means ignorable, little important, ordinary things and all. I let that pass, can furnish forth. Henceforth means from the beginning, but let that pass. Okay. So that kind of all the things, whatever I want, I can learn, I can earn them, okay, because of my money. So definitely I can enjoy with that, like that, he had thought. I was ignorant then and could but take for the best what seemed so. So when the time had gone away, that time he had understood that he had chosen badly. Whatever he had chosen wealth, that was bad. His choice was bad. But let that pass. But the time would not come back. I was ignorant then. That means when the time had gone, when wealth had gone, that time everyone had ignored him, and nobody would take care of him. So now he understood that there is one more thing that is good for him. 3 short years went by, and a day came when the man sat shivering in a mean garret. So 3 short years completed, and one day came, and at the time the man was shivering in a mean garret. That means one unpleasant room. And he was gaunt. Gaunt means made exceptionally thin by suffering of hunger. He became old, and he had no food. He was suffering from hunger. And wan and hollow eyed. So he was hollow-eyed, that means having deeply sunk eyes, result of tiredness. He became old-aged and clothed in rags. That means he was in very bad clothes, which were torn, and he was gnawing a dry crust and mumbling. Gnawing means biting, and crust means the hard outer surface of the beard. So he had a long beard also, and he was mumbling. That means just he was telling everything in low voice. Curse all the world's gifts for mockeries and glided lies. So mockeries means ridiculing, commenting. Now he is cursing all the gifts and all. Okay, pleasures, love, then fame, then wealth, and everything he is cursing and glided lies. And he is commenting all that they are lies. Glided means coated with gold or false lies, like this. And miscalled everyone. So miscalled means insulted everyone. They are not gifts but merely lendings. So they are not really gifts for me. They are just lendings. That means if you take something, then you have to give back that to others. Like that only pleasures, love, fame, wealth, and they are short lived. That means they could not live along with us permanently, that he found at last. Pleasure, love, fame, riches, they are but temporary disguises for lasting relatives. So he understood that pleasure, love, fame, riches, they are temporary, but they have relatives. Pleasure gives us pain, love gives us grief, fame gives us shame, riches make us poverty. These are permanent. Pain, grief, shame, poverty, these are the lasting relatives. These are with us only. But these are in disguise. That means in another form. Those are like pleasure, love, fame, riches. The fairy said true. The fairy came, and it is true. In all her store, there was but one gift which was precious. So precious, so many times the fairy said, that's correct. That gift was really precious, only one that was not valueless. So everyone think that there is no value for that gift. What is that? Death. Nobody thinks of that. But actually that was the precious one. How poor and cheap and mean I know those others now to be, compared with that inestimable one, that dear and sweet and kindly one, that steeps into dreamless and enduring sleep the pains that persecute the body, and the shames and griefs that eat the mind and heart. Bring it, I am weary, I would rest. At the time he had said that, so the in the whole life he had understood that what was the mistake he had done, that so whatever he had got, all those are short lived. Okay, and only one priceless thing, very very valuable thing, but everyone thinks that that is valueless, that is the death, and that he wanted now, because he was tired completely, he was tired, so he could not live now the life. That's why he wanted to take that gift. Okay, and that only a good medicine for him, and that only definitely make him peace of mind. So that's why he was now he wanted to get that last gift. So he is praying to the fairy to give that fifth and the last one. The fairy came bringing again four of the gifts, but death was wanting. So the fairy came back, but she came now with only four gifts. The fairy came now with only four gifts, but death was missing, but death was not there. But the old man now wanted death only. And wanting means here absent. Okay, but the death was missing, the death was absent. She said, I gave it to a mother's pet, a little child. Then the fairy said that she gave that death, which was priceless, that one to a little child. It was innocent, but trusted me. The child was innocent, and the child believed me and asked me to choose for it. And do you know one thing? The child trusted me, and the child asked me to select the best one for her, for the child. You did not ask me to choose, the fairy had said now. So, you, as a man, young man, you did not ask me to choose. Whenever I came to you, you only has taken choices, but you never asked me to choose. But the child asked me innocently, I gave her the death. So now, in my basket, the death was absent, the death was missing. You have remaining four gifts if you want to take. Like that, she has said. Oh, miserable me, what is left for me? So, oh, miserable me. So, my condition is very serious, very bad. What is left for me? Then, what is there for me? What not even you have deserved? The wanton insult of old age. So, to be worth to have. So, then she said, show nothing is useful for you because now you became old. So, wanton, that means excessive insult of an old age. So, in this age, if he has chosen pleasures, there is no use. If he has chosen love, what will he do? What will he do with love and family and all? And if he has chosen the fame, what is the use of fame in his old age? And if he has chosen wealth, what is the use of wealth? He could not enjoy anything because of the excessive old age. Only death is need for him, but it is not there. He has to wait for the death for some more days or some more years. So this is actually a philosophical story. In this story, Mark Twain had told us that the death is real in our life. We were born, that means definitely we will die. So from birth to death, in the middle, we enjoy other pleasures and we get love and we get fame and we get wealth. But they are not permanent for us. They are all short lived. They come into our life, then they leave us abruptly. We should be ready for that. You should not feel sad about them. Okay, whatever it may be. So, love, fame, wealth, pleasures, all these are temporary. Those are not permanent. That's why, whenever they leave you, don't bother about them. Don't think of them. Just move on in your life. That our Mark Twain wanted to tell us through this story. I hope this give us a nice information. That means what we have to do in our life, how we have to lead our life. So Mark Twain clearly explained for us. I hope you enjoyed this story. Thanks for watching.